in 2023 on Instagram, I'm already seeing these types of reels just blow up all over the place. And the best part about them is that they are low effort and they're so easy to create if you're someone who's trying to create reels to grow on Instagram. The reels that I'm talking about are, I'm gonna call them like stock content reels or like B-roll reels. So it's essentially reels of you doing something and just having text overlaid on the screen with a popular audio and it gaining a lot of traction for your brand. And so we're gonna talk a little bit more in this video about why these work and how these work and then how you can create them for yourself. Okay, so I just wanted to give a few thoughts on why I think these kinds of reels are working really well in 2023. And the first reason why I think that they work is because people like to watch other people do things. And it's just kind of a funny thing about human nature. Like, for example, when we're walking down the street and a window's open, like our first instinct is to want to look in the window and see what people are doing, right? Isn't that kind of funny? And I feel like a similar concept of people are almost getting a peek into you just doing an everyday task. Even if it's a task like folding laundry that they might also do on a daily basis, that's not really that interesting. For some reason, it's interesting for us to watch. It's the funny thing about content nowadays. Like, some of the most like mundane things can be awesome content, like things for you to film. I think that's a really big reason why it works. I also think it works because it really does humanize your brand. It makes you a person behind the brand, right? And it shows you doing things. And I think these kinds of reels also, I'm just gonna throw in, like, they're so good and so awesome because they're so easy to create. Okay, like, just because if you don't feel like putting your face on camera, like, you can film yourself doing something from behind or from far away, and it doesn't have to be like you up close and personal in the camera, which is just awesome. I think they also feel a little bit more original and not as trendy. I think although trends are still a very, very important way on how the Instagram app works, and even within creating these types of reels, I definitely recommend adding sounds and songs over it that are trending. It's almost a way to jump in on and create trends without it feeling super trendy or like you're just copying a lot of what other people are doing. So I think that's another reason it just works really well in 2023. And like I mentioned, these are just so easy to create. Like, they are very, very low effort content that you can be creating. So I'm gonna talk a little bit now about how to create them and what that process can look like. So the first step, obviously, is to film yourself doing everyday tasks, okay? So this can look like things related to your brand or your niche, or it can also look like just random everyday things that you might be doing anyway. For example, you could be creating yourself doing like packaging products or on client calls, or maybe you doing computer work, like things like that that you already do on a daily basis for your brand. That's an example. You can also film yourself doing just everyday tasks that might not even be related to your niche. Some really easy ideas for this is like you walking into your office, you sitting down at your desk, opening up your laptop, maybe typing on your laptop. Maybe you are, taking a sip from your drink. Like, I have my Stanley cup right here. Anyone else love these? Like, these are the best. I love this thing, and it could just be you like picking it up and taking a sip. It could be you stirring your matcha. You could have B-roll of you making your coffee and doing latte art if that's your thing. You could be sitting on the couch petting your dog. Like, there's so many things that could be like B-roll type content where it's not like the whole idea is you want people to feel like they're watching you do an everyday task without like making it feel like you don't even know that you're being filmed, like you're just doing something. And I also want to mention here that adding movements is also really important, okay? So whenever I'm thinking about filming this type of content, I'm thinking about what's like even micro movements that I can do in it to make it a little more interesting. So instead of me just sitting here at my desk, just staring at my computer, right? I am filming myself sitting at my desk and maybe typing on my laptop, or like I mentioned earlier, like opening my laptop screen to kind of signify like the beginning of a work day and opening my laptop up. Or maybe it's me sitting here and I'm like bouncing my foot back and forth and like I'm thinking, or maybe I'm sitting here journaling and writing in my journal, right? Or writing a to-do list down. Like, there's so many different ways you can add in even micro movements like that. I do think that is pretty important when it comes to creating this type of B-roll content. You don't want to just be sitting here like staring off into the distance, right? You want to like give yourself something to do with your hands, or it's almost like a story, right? And like you're telling this little snippet of a story, and like what you're doing, and then you can elaborate in the text on the screen. Another tip that goes along with this is when you are filming this, give yourself plenty of like negative space in your frame where you are not in it to add text to the screen. Just keep that in mind when you are filming it. Maybe even film it a few different times in a few different ways, like one up close and one far away, and then one at a different angle, so that you have a few options when you are going to create your reels with these. When you are filming these too, I highly recommend filming these on your camera roll and saving them for later. But the nice thing too is you can create these types of reels or create this type of content without having to like sit down and create a bunch of it. Like you can just create it as you're going throughout your day, which is really nice. And what I like to do is when I'm filming stock content like this, I actually will add it into a folder on my camera roll titled stock content, like favorite business stock content videos. And whenever I want to create a reel like this, I have it all compiled into one place. So I can just go back and quickly scroll and find something that I might want to use to create in a video. And it's not getting lost in the shuffle of my camera roll amongst the literally thousands of photos I have of my babies and my dogs. So if you're like that, maybe make sure you create a folder or somewhere where you also save those kind of videos so that they don't get lost and you forget about them. So I also probably should have done this sooner, but I'm actually gonna pop on the screen right here and we'll put a link down below to a recent like stock content reel that we created over on the Stephanie Case Education account. And it was simply me walking up to my desk, sitting down and opening my laptop and starting to type. So you can get an idea of what this might look like in action and then how we put it into a reel if you are curious. And if you're also curious to know more about Instagram Reels and like the strategy that goes into them, especially moving into 2023, like what have we seen working now and what is working really well and how you can use it to grow on Instagram, be sure to watch our free Reels class. The link will be right below in the description of this video. We would love to invite you to join and to learn a little bit more about how to grow with Instagram Reels, and I think you're really gonna love it. So also give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you found it really helpful, because we upload new videos every single Tuesday. We'd love to have you stick around. And I also want to share, fun fact, let me see if I can show you. Speaking of content reels, I'm actually filming one right now. As I am filming this YouTube video, I was like, hey, I should create some like B-roll content, and that's what we're doing. So more than likely, this will actually be turned into a stock content reel. So if we have already posted that, maybe we'll include a link to that too, who knows. But anyways, thank you guys so much. You guys are the best. We have the best community ever, and we're here for you guys, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday. Bye guys.